So, first off, happy holidays. And second off, some of you may already know what this video is, not just by the title, but have been expecting this already. There's another channel, there's another nerfing channel called AC NerfShop. And quite a number of months ago, they messaged me about a blaster, a commission trade. And I've done this before. I've done this with Mers, otherwise known as Merlin, and Coop, and I think I did it with one other person, but I don't remember who. But I haven't done one in a while. So I said yes at the time, but it would have to wait a few months because I was already backed up by a few commissions at the time. And we agreed late November to have it ready to ship out January 1st. And we went back and forth on what to actually mod and trade because we wanted to do the same thing. But we decided to trade the same thing because that's fair. We didn't want to do, they suggested a long shot. I didn't want to do a long shot because at the time I had just finished the Lancer and I only have one stock one left and I'm saving that for the Orange Mod Work stuff. And if I were to buy another stock one, that would be like 50, 60 bucks right there. And quite frankly, I just didn't want to mod another long shot. I'm kind of sick of long shots at the moment. So they suggested primary springers, or homemade primary springers. So I thought, that's a freaking great idea. Why don't we do that? Because at the time, I had just finished this, which is, I held a contest for the name, and there were a lot of really, really good ones. One of my favorite ones was Icebreaker, and there was another fun one called Cold Snap. But I went along with the name IPS, which stands for Ice Pump Snap, so it's the ice variant on the Pump Snap. So I made them something similar to my first IPS, and let me show it to you. Now, before you see it, I know you can see a little of it over there, but for some of you die-hard fans that have been watching my videos for a really long time, maybe you'll remember back to when I was working on a bunch of commissions last year or the year before, and I said the goal of the commission is to not want to put it in the box to ship it. Now that happened with Bobo Lobo's long shot, which he's received, and to see that video, click the link down here. He did a really nice review on it in the description box. Now this blaster, multiple times during making it, I wanted to send them my IPS to keep this one. But that's not what we agreed on. That wouldn't be the right thing to do. I made this for them. It's being sent to them. That being said, you have no idea how much I want to keep it, so let me show it to you. This is their IPS. So the stock is obviously the most notable difference, and we decided they don't do paint jobs, so we decided not to paint either blaster. So the most notable difference is obviously the stock and the paint job. I also didn't do the vinyl on this one, but other than that, it's pretty similar. The sheath has a more elegant design to it, and overall, it's just a little slicker looking than mine, I think. Now if I show you the other side, you can see I've spelled out in red lettering AC NerfShop and then IPS for the model name. So I think they'll be very happy with it. The trigger on this is entirely polycarbonate, and I'm going to take an in-depth look and actually take this apart for you guys to show you how it works. But the trigger is full polycarbonate, which you'll never, ever, ever have a problem with because it took me freaking forever to make it correctly, but I got it perfect. The plunger seal is slightly better than the one on mine, and if I prime this, it's got such a smooth prime, and put a cap on it, I can keep it there for a few minutes and still have it pop when it pulls out like that. So it's got a really, really nice seal on it. This doesn't work the same as my original design. This actually has a slotted CPVC plunger rod. Now originally I thought that was way too weak, but I looked at the way I could incorporate it into the design again, and I figured, you know what, I can probably work with that, and it works out beautifully. So I know that Nerfomania does it for his pump snaps, so I wanted to give it a try, and I've tested it pretty rigorously, and I don't think it'll ever have a problem. It's certainly not as sturdy as my original 2-ring design, but it's lighter, and there's less friction, so it gets more range, and it's easier to use. So there's a trade-off. Oops, I never took that tag off. I'll do that in a minute. But other than that, it's got a really, really fast prime on it, same speed as mine. And since it's a 5-inch draw, you can, with a hopper, just keep going and going and going, and your arm doesn't get tired. That was one of my complaints with normal pump snaps, is it's a 7 or 8-inch draw, which is really, really cumbersome when you're coming off something like a long shot that has a 3-inch draw, which means you're moving almost 3 times the length for a normal pump snap. So this is just a time and then another half or so. So I really like this. Let's get on to shooting it, shall we? Alright, so here's just a quick disassembly guide. Everything can be taken apart with a pair of needle nose pliers and a basic screwdriver. So the first thing you have to do is take out the bottom 2 screws. And this will undo the stock. And the stock will come off rather easily. Just a little bit of turning. And that comes up. Then there's a screw up top here. That needs to be removed next. And that comes off. Next is these 2 screws. There's one on each side. Then the slide will come off. Now you need to take your pliers, undo, this is a threaded rod that goes through the slotted plunger rod, and you just need to do that a few times till you can unscrew the rest of it with your fingers, which is rather simple. And then that will slide off. Then this back piece has 4 screws that need to be undone, or 3 screws rather. Now this is the back sheath. That will come to get the plunger out, there's the spring. Pull the trigger and pull, and then obviously the K26 will just thread over thusly. So the plunger head is a larger O-ring, which is the seal O-ring, an inner O-ring, which helps that to form correctly, a washer, which will compress it, and then a nut with a threaded rod. So it's fairly simple. Now, for any reason, if you need to take the handle off, that can be done as well, simply by undoing these 4 screws. So it gets very small. And you can see I actually did screw the handle in, it's not just epoxy putty. So those are all the pieces. Now let's put it back together, shall we?